My name is Justin Tanaka. I'm a musician and robotics engineer. I am an atheist, humanist, and I am openly secular. Growing up, I was raised American Baptist. My dad was actually ordained minister, but not practicing at the time. And my family was religious. I mean, we went to church every Sunday, but I had a very good experience in the church and still have relationships with the people I met there, and it was very welcoming and, I would say liberal maybe for a church, and no one took things too seriously, I would say. What led me to become an atheist was, like with a lot of people, a bit of a process, but I had always had doubts, but again, because of my church upbringing, it was very, very blasé, very, they never really went into too many details. I just kind of, the doubts were just there, but never really addressed. My first Asian mythology class, and that taught me about religions in the world, which I had never thought to hear. And actually, I remember a specific moment where the first day of Asian mythology class, my professor came to the front of the class, and she said, we're teaching these mythologies of the world, and I see the list, and it's like Buddhism, Hinduism, and these are religions, and she's flatly calling them mythology, and I was like, I have a religion, is that a mythology? And that's when I kind of started to realize that all religions are mythologies and stories and not real. In college is when I deconverted, and actually, I do remember early on in the process, my roommate was telling me about Richard Dawkins, who I'd never heard of, and he's like, "Oh, I love Richard Dawkins. I love the way he talks. He's just so eloquent." And he goes, and he continues on this train, and he says, "So you're an atheist, right?" And he just assumed that I was, and at that point, I hadn't admitted that to myself even, and I just didn't answer. And luckily, my roommate had the tact to just kind of move on, and he didn't press it at all. And I just kind of, then I thought, am I an atheist? And I also thought that was curious that he would assume that I was, even though I hadn't admitted it to my own self, just by the way I acted, the way I don't know, just lived through life. I feel actually that as a compliment now, that he would just assume that I was an atheist at that point. Well, I think that when I was in the process of losing my faith, I think that there was a small fear of losing a sense of purpose or losing out on if I was wrong, but I just pushed through that, and I, again, wanted to address the doubts that I had, and I couldn't be more happier for it. It was definitely the people who were already out, people on YouTube, people on my campus, people who were in my classes, that made me feel much, much more comfortable about coming to terms with my own beliefs.